Okay, now that you're a seller and we're so excited for you, these are the steps that we like to take from discussing the two different types of contracts to the process, the sign and the photos and everything, title company, escrow, inspections, furnished, unfurnished, you're going to sell furnished or unfurnished, and all the intricacies of what you want to include with the sale, permits, property maintenance, getting your money, honey, and closing. Congrats again to you. Now, I want to go over the two different contracts with you, not in great detail, but one of the things that I like to discuss with my sellers are the two different contracts, because when you're presented with either an as-is or a regular Florida bar contract, you're going to want to know some of those details ahead of time. And sometimes in certain markets and areas, we can ask the buyer to present us with one or the other contract. So I like that conversation ahead of time with my clients. The other thing is, of course, you want to know when are the photos going to be done, the sign going up, and all of those things. So we like our photos done with a certain vendor, and we really like to have him there because he's got this artistic eye. So there's a lot of reasons that, first impressions are really important, and it's storming. And so we want to make sure that we have really our best photographer. We have a really pretty sign. And when we have photography done, speaking of that, we like to do some light staging. Now, when we go in, I like to arrange a little bit because I'm so particular. I think that's to your benefit. So we will do some light staging. If we really see the need to hire someone, we'll do that, but we don't a lot of times have to do that. All right, title company, either the buyer selects title or the seller. It's mostly the buyer picks and pays. So if they pick and pay, and it is a law firm, just so you know, the law firm represents the buyer and the buyer's best interest. So at any point, you're entitled to hire an attorney. You can retain one on your behalf at any time. I find a lot of times that we don't need to, but certainly a lot of our clients are from the Northeast, and they are accustomed to hiring counsel during the real estate transaction process, and we've got plenty to refer you to in Sarasota. Escrow goes generally to the title office that was hired. I don't see a lot of escrow going to other escrow holders, so that's generally how that's handled, and then your money is secure typically within 3 days per the contract. All right, inspections. If you're living in the home, we're going to have to kick you out of the house because no buyer wants the seller there, and it's generally like you want to give the buyer freedom to, really feel like this is an independent inspection without the seller chiming in and hovering, kind of. I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of how it should be. And then we like to talk about whether your property is going to be sold furnished or unfurnished. We do sell a lot of properties that are furnished, particularly island side, that may or may not be rented, but it's definitely really common here in this Longboat Siesta Key market where we happen to be on Longboat Key. All right, permitting. If you have any open permits, we do come across this. This is part of the title company's job. They pull the permits and make sure those are closed out so that you have title insurance on your property and everything is tidied up. Okay, property maintenance. This is something you're going to want to maintain the property. Isn't it beautiful still when it's raining? You have to maintain the property per either contract up until closing. So if, for example, your AC shuts down, it doesn't work, the day before closing, it's still your responsibility. So there's a whole section of property maintenance in your contract, and I'm happy to go over that. And I can't interpret the contract because I'm not an attorney and I didn't go to school for that, but I can help you answer most of your questions. Okay, getting your money, honey. Let's talk about your money. So the buyer has to wire the final numbers, and so does their lender if there is a lender. And so we'll usually get it the day of closing. A lot of times the buyer sends it ahead of time because they're anxious and ready to close. So we usually get that sometimes the day before or the day of closing too. In closing, we could do things virtually, so you don't have to be here. Actually, some of our sellers we never even meet, and we so appreciate you, whether we meet you or not, for your business. And we do make it easy for you. So you can be here, we can sit down at the closing table. I will say that a lot of people like to do early closings, so you can go at your convenience and we can meet early. Or if you're on vacation, we could do it remotely. So it's whatever your preference is, and we try to make this really, really easy for you as the client. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we are always available for questions throughout the entire process. We take great pride in keeping you informed throughout the transaction and beyond the transaction closing table. So if you have any questions, or if you're on YouTube and just looking at this and you're not under contract, click the link below, ShaylaTwitt.com.